I have a very good network of intel sources. I warned yesterday. If you check my Facebook page, if you listen to my video from yesterday, I warned that this was coming. We knew it was going to happen. So please pay attention. Right from the start, I promised everybody we named this channel What They Don't Say because you're going to hear things here that you don't hear from major media. It's very important because what they don't say is often the most important part. That's why this channel is named What They Don't Say. What a crazy time to be alive. You're waking up to this, you don't know what's going on, none of us do. You got to remember, the initial reports of everything are almost always wrong. There's always element truth. I mean, obviously we know Iran got hit. Trump gave his speech. He told us all what's going on. The U.S. and Israel both hit Iran. Iran started striking back like they said they would. We knew they had over 3,000 missiles of various ranges that they could strike out with. Well, Jordan, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, they were all hit. One of our naval fleets was attacked. We don't know all the casualties. We don't know the extent of everything, but we do know that 7 Tomahawk missiles slammed into the presidential palace. They say that Khamenei, however you want to pronounce it, the 86-year-old ruler of Iran, the tyrant, they say he's on the run. Well, trust me, at 86 years old, the old boy ain't running too fast. Anyway, he's on the run. A lot of his people are killed, but they had the people in place and all spread out so they could launch attacks at everybody else. At this time, right before 4 o'clock in the morning Central Time, as I'm recording this, there's missiles flying everywhere. We got our missiles flying in, their missiles flying out. They got missiles flying in every direction. I guess they threw some at the Saudis, Jordan. I mean, they're flying everywhere. At this moment, we're still in the fog of war. However, the thing you got to remember going ahead, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long the leaders, the old leaders of Iran, are going to have any kind of power over the people that launch their missiles. But preliminary reports, this was a daylight strike over there. Preliminary reports say that people in Iran are starting to riot in the streets. I don't know about that. I'll tell you what, if my city was getting rained on by missiles, I wouldn't be out rioting in the streets. I don't know if they are, but hell, are you safe anywhere? But what you got to remember about Iran, they've got a lot of technical capabilities. I expect a lot of cyber strikes. There's going to be cyber stuff going on, and you got to remember too that other people might take advantage of this. Iran was part of an axis. They are partnered up with Russia, China, and North Korea. We know that Russia and China had assets in the region. They have ships that are out there mixed up in the Gulfs and the seas with our ships. We know they've got military technology out there. We know they're watching it. We know they're on the side of Iran. They are going to be players. They have technical capabilities. Besides their war machines, we know that they have a lot of cyberspace technical capabilities. We don't know how they are going to attack us. We don't know what this is going to do to international markets. We don't know what this is going to do to international trade. We don't know if Iran is enough to trigger Russia and China into looking for something bigger at this moment. We know that Israel and the U.S. are depleting a lot of ammunition launching this strike. Russia and China looking at that thinking that we're as weak as we were going to be, as we can get. We don't know anything. It's the fog of war. You have to have your head on a swivel. You've got to be watchful because this is their opportunity. China and Russia were over there helping them before all of this started. North Korea is famous for cyber strikes. We could have a lot of cyber strikes moving ahead, and we won't know what's going on. You need to have cash. You need to have cash available. I have been in a city that lost its internet. All businesses shut down. You can't get money out of an ATM. You can't buy anything at a grocery store. You can't even go get gas at a convenience store when you don't have internet because everything is linked to the internet now. I have been in a city that lost the internet and the city shuts down. So be ready for that. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this isn't some kind of major panic thing. It's not like Iran's going to storm America, but they can cause complications that none of us need. That's what cyber attacks are all about. But Iran, the history of Iran, they've got a stretch of mountains they used to call the Elbers. Now they call them the Albers, whatever. Things change over past of time. But they had a castle up there back in the 13th century, in the years we call the 1200s, called the Alamet, which is the eagle's nest. The Crusaders found it. They're the ones that gave it the name. But there was an old man up there that was the king of the Alamet Mountain fortress, okay? They used to train guys. They would get these young guys in there. They'd feed them full of hash, and that is hash, the smoke stuff they make to get you high. It comes from a really good pot. They take the pollen from it, cube it up, and they make hash. They would get these guys loaded on hash, and they would put them in this garden full of what they considered beautiful young women. For all we know, they were goats. But they were with all these women, and they treated them like kings, and all of these guys, they were back there, they were stoned, they were young, they were impressionable, and they trained them to be sleeper cells. That was the origin of the sleeper cells. And they called these guys, since they fed them the hash, they called them the Hashashans. In the English version, that became assassin. Hashashan, in their words, became assassin in our words. They would take these people and they'd get these guys stoned and indoctrinated. That's where they were radicalized. This was going on over 1,000 years ago. And then they would send them out to live in these kingdoms or to attack. They would give them orders, and these guys would follow any kind of orders because they believed that that life that they'd lived with all those beautiful girls in that garden in the Alamet Castle, they thought that that was life after death, and that that's what they would achieve if they went out and they died for the kingdom. They thought they would be swept back there, and that would be their future in death. That was their heaven, okay? The Hashashans, the assassins, that's how they indoctrinated these people and started the whole damn thing. Okay, right now, we don't know how many of these sleeper cell assassins they have around the world right now. They're still drugging them up and training them. Remember back during the Obama years when all this Islamic problem was going on? We were worried about the sleeper cells. Everyone was talking about it. That's kind of faded, unfortunately. But the sleeper cells are still around the world. Islam has infiltrated countries all over the world. We don't know how much of these attacks tonight are going to play out to be a war on Islam or an Islamic war on the rest of the world. That's what we have to watch for. How much of this is going to become just Islam acting like Islam? Because these people are a problem. They're a problem everywhere they go. Iran is in big trouble. They're done. Nobody is going to quit on them. The people who are attacking them are not going to quit on them until they're done. Now, I don't know which European countries were involved. I do know that the UK had some fighter jets over there. The UK is overrun with Islam. Sweden is horribly, a lot of Europe is horribly overrun with Islam. Are these people going to act up? We don't know, but that's something to watch for. That's what we've got to think about going ahead. What is the rest of the Islamic community in the world going to do? People are going to regret ever letting these people in. Just like the Somali Islamists up there in Minnesota, they're no good where they go. People tell me, well, I know one, he was a nice guy. He used to talk to me when I mowed my yard. Yeah, that's what they're trained to do. Maybe some of them are good people. If they are good, they will reject Islam. If they're good Americans, they're going to reject it because you cannot be an Islamic person, a faithful Islamic person, a faithful Muslim, and be an American. You can't be in Western society and be a faithful, productive person of Western society if you're Islamic. How many of these people do we have everywhere? There's millions of them. We don't know how they're going to react. That's what we have to watch for. Right now, everything's still going down. Can you imagine the storming of the Normandy beach? You look at that, and they had blow-up tanks. I mean, they used so much subterfuge to fool the Germans. They didn't know that the wave after wave after wave of soldiers were invading Europe from England. Eisenhower set that up beautifully. But today, I'm sitting here in bed, literally eating popcorn, watching this stuff, and I was watching radar of planes refueling in the air as they went on various attacks over there. I mean, it's just crazy, the technology we have now. There's something they're calling the glowing orb. They don't even know what the heck it is. But when Israel had their 12-day war with Iran, when Trump told them to shut down here a while back, the same orb was reported. It hovered. The thing is bright. Some people describe it as bright white. Some describe it as bright orange. Some say that it looks like it's about the size of the sun, although it's not as high. But they say in the sky it looks a lot like the sun, and it hovered over Iran before this attack, and no one knows where it went afterwards. They said it disappeared like almost instantly. That's a UFO. It's an unidentified flying object. It's not aliens. Evidently, we have some of that technology. God only knows what the hell that thing is because it's a world-class secret. But it was there. Before the attack started, before the first missiles hit Iran, this glowing orb was hovering over Tehran. What the hell are we capable of now? Anyway, this is going to be a wild one to watch. It's going to be going on for a while. It's not over yet. We don't know how many Iranian commanders are still around that can launch missiles. We don't know how many missile launching sites are still capable. We don't know how many of these people are scattered around the globe that have orders to proceed with various attacks over a length of time as this proceeds. Be on your toes, people. Keep your head on a swivel and just watch and learn like the rest of us. This is really going to be something to watch. What a time to be alive, huh? It's about time, though. This needed to be done. God, I'm glad I was born American.